astray and lied to. I don't think there's anyone that hates it more than I do. Trapped inside the system and I'm caught up in the struggle. One day I hope to see the light at the end of the tunnel. I feel like I'm alone and no one knows the things I know. There's nobody to talk to and there's nowhere I can go. Trapped inside the system and I'm caught up in the struggle. One day I hope to see the light at the end of the tunnel.
We the sheeple, hear no, see no, and speak no evil. We get lied to so much, it seems normal to be deceitful. We'll never be treated equal, and I wanna know why. Rich people start all the wars, but only poor people die. Just take a look, it's so easy to see the system is rigged by degenerate pigs targeting our innocent kids. They start programming you just as soon as you exit the womb. Now money is your god,
You must obey and consume.
always practice conformity, stay within the majority. Never think for yourself and do not question authority. Man, I still can't even believe this is the way that they have us. I'm taking my chances, I have to try and wake up the masses. Can't get away from the madness, but still I'm trying my best. And as long as I'm still alive, I will fight till the death. Because we cannot let this be the end. It's now or never, sink or swim. The time has come for the great awakening.
Never sleep again.
Every single day we're being led astray and lied to. I don't think there's anyone that hates it more than I do. Trapped inside the system and I'm caught up in the struggle. One day I hope to see the light at the end of the tunnel. I feel like I'm alone and no one knows the things I know. There's nobody to talk to and there's nowhere I can go. Trapped inside the system and I'm caught up in the struggle. One day I hope to see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Listen, I woke up with a fever today. Sick of the fact people believe everything that this evil media say. Morality has been deleted away. Zionist heathens display that they're the predators who see us as prey. Transparency is what they need to purvey. They even have us thinking that eating a fruit that has no seed is okay. Victims of greed and impeded by hate. The glaring question is, how can we get to God if Satan's leading the way? Ravenous witches, scientists with moral character glitches, preparing malicious conditions and sick narrative switches. The elite is wearing his privilege as he battles for riches, while the lower classes carry out the establishment's wishes. The portrayal of their intentions is unfair and fictitious, acting suspicious. Undercover agents snapping your pictures, suggestive messages embedded in the movies to trick us. Music and advertisement slickness plus remixture of scriptures. Come on.
Every single day we're being led astray and lied to. I don't think there's anyone that hates it more than I do. Trapped inside the system and I'm caught up in the struggle. One day I hope to see the light at the end of the tunnel. I feel like I'm alone and no one knows the things I know. There's nobody to talk to and there's nowhere I can go. Trapped inside the system and I'm caught up in the struggle. One day I hope to see the light at the end of the tunnel.
It's 2019, but it feels more like 1984. Our rights are fading away. Every day they're taking more. It's time to stand and take action. What are we waiting for? They're waging war on humanity. This we can't ignore. My brain is sore from all the lies that they constantly feed us. Elitists that follow the phoenix can swallow a penis. And we're not gonna stop until we know all of your secrets. The Bible says in our final days our knowledge increases. That is exactly what's happening now on this challenging road that we're traveling down. We have to get rowdy, we have to get loud and keep spreading the truth and just pass it around. You work like a slave and you live in a loop. They're turning your sky into chemical soup. I'm always watching these videos, often like Richie from Boston, to give me the scoop. Waking the world up, dispensing the truth like a doctor that's handing out red pills to everyone. What in the world are they spraying up there in the air? It's aluminum, lithium, barium. Nobody notices, nobody cares. Everyone's greedy and nobody shares. I want to help you, you'll be in my prayers. But now we must separate wheat from the tares.
Every single day we're being led astray and lied to. I don't think there's anyone that hates it more than I do. Trapped inside the system and I'm caught up in the struggle. One day I hope to see the light at the end of the tunnel. I feel like I'm alone and no one knows the things I know. There's nobody to talk to and there's nowhere I can go. Trapped inside the system and I'm caught up in the struggle. One day I hope to see the light at the end of the tunnel.
All right, what's going on, y'all? Steve JMO. It's almost 5:30 here to go a little early. It is what it is. It's the 24th of January, 2020. For what they tell us, I don't quite buy that, but it is what it is. So we had a couple people in the chat. William Bacall, what's up? Marika, absolutely, and that's a fact. That's a 100% fact right there. 100%. We'll get into that just a little bit later as well. OVC from Croatia. What's going on, brother? How are you? Good to see you here. Albert A. with a nice thumbs up. Absolutely. Tell me truth. What's up? What's up, Michael Angelo in the chat? What's up, Voyage? Just joined. What's up, Chris Coleman? Bernie Mac. What's up? B Max in the crib. You know it's real. Oh, Cold Steel. What's going on, brother? How y'all doing tonight? So, good to see you guys here in the chat. Good to see you guys here. You guys are like my regulars at the restaurant, you know. You my counter people. So, good to see y'all. Good to see y'all in the chat. So yeah, today we're gonna be talking more about, you know, chemtrails, geoengineering, the web of just deception that's over us, and the web of deception that's being played out in reality. So it's a lot to take in. Like I said, we'll be talking about chemtrails, a little flat Earth. We'll mix in there a little bit. It's going to be biblical or extra biblical, however you want to talk about it. We'll be talking about the Book of Enoch, and I got a video here hooked up from End Times Darkness Descending, I believe. It's about Mount Hermon, the gates of the fallen angels. And it's about a 20-minute video, 25-minute actually. So that'll be a good part of this little podcast here. And, you know, I don't really listen to these guys. So, you know, I just found this video the other day. You know, I don't even subscribe to these dudes. You know, they only get 13,500. So, you know, anything that's like, you know, 150 or like 500,000, 400 million, you know, those are more suspect in my eyes. But these guys seem to be on it for the most part. So I got no problem sharing any of this. And, you know, the link for this is in the description. And honestly, I might still have it pasted here. And Yeetus McFeetus just joined. What's going on, bro? I'm pretty sure that's the link to the video right there. I just threw it in the chat because we're going to get that going next. So, and it's I think it's rather informative. And, you know, the Book of Enoch was written for the end of times, for the people in the, you know, that are dealing with what we're dealing with now. So, in my opinion, and many others. So and we're going to put some dots together. And I've just been really interested with the question of, is Azazel Lucifer? Because he was the leader of the Watchers. You know, so, or is he Baal, Nimrod, Zeus? I mean, definitely, maybe not Nimrod, I'm sorry. But, you know, like Zeus, Osiris, you know, it could be connected. It could be all connected. You know, ancient myths are much more than myths and stories, in my opinion. So it's going to be rather interesting. It's going to be rather interesting. And like I said, I've just been really stuck with the question, is Azazel Lucifer? Yeah, I know Lucifer is the top angel, Michelangelo. It's just I lean towards the idea that that he was, you know, that Azazel was inspired by Lucifer. I think Lucifer fell before the incursion, before the original fallen angels fell. So I think why I think that is because the issue in the garden, the snake in the garden, and then God formed the earth, and it was dark and void. So there was already darkness upon the earth, not just like you turn the lights off and darkness. I think darkness and void is, you know, I think he's alluding to something else. I think there's a part of the puzzle we're all missing. I think that Lucifer, the serpent, I think he fell earlier than the original fallen angels, in my opinion. But in my research upon that, I found this video, and honestly, I can't quite remember if they lean he's him being Lucifer, him not, but it's just a good, very good, just informative video for people like me, people like all of you in the chat. So yeah, there was a snake before the fallen angels. Absolutely, OBC. And I just saw. Oh man, the chat just scrolled on me. I didn't even see who just joined. I'm sorry. Martin Ellen, Tommy Told the Truth, David Wolf, V Mays. What's going on, buddy? So yeah, much love all y'all in the chat. But yeah, absolutely was the first cast down. Yeah, the snake was before that. That's what I'm thinking, dude. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking. Yeah, I know they were all cast out. I know. It's Nimrod is Zeus, Tamara says, yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah, we talked about that plenty of times. Tell me truth. Absolutely. The God of many names. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So, and I was watching I don't know if you guys follow, oh my god. Now I'm gonna have a freaking brain aneurysm. Let me just get on my phone real quick, and wow. I listen to these guys all the time, and I have nothing right now in my brain. Good God. Let me get to my history. I should have had this already in my brain. Now You See TV. Yeah. So yeah, the dudes on Now You See TV, they had Gary Wayne on 2 or 3, 4 years ago. I was just listening to that the other day, and woo, that was a chat. That might be something I should queue up while we're watching this video and put that up after and throw that in the description too, because that is a interesting little listen. At least the beginning part when they're talking about Lucifer, the fallen angels, Mount Hermon, this, that, and the other thing. So that I might have to get queued up in the meantime. So let me get this ready to get shared. And I just really don't want to get another copyright strike, so I think I'm just gonna throw the old icon up in front of it. So yeah, this will just be, it's all just audio anyways. Two guys just talking back and forth, a couple Bibles out in front of them. So yeah, this is Mount Hermon, Gates of the Fallen Angels by End Times, Darkness Descending. The link for that is in the chat, and it is in the description. So check that one out. And we're going to start listening right now. And let me know if you guys can hear that. Give me a quick thumbs up if you could hear this.
Far northern border of Israel lies Mount Hermon. It is an exotic mountain, and it is the place where, according to ancient historical writings, the fallen angels came down before the flood and consorted with the daughters of men. Gary Stimman is here to discuss with me Mount Hermon, Gate of the Fallen Angels.
All right, dude. How was that audio? Was there an echo? Was it good? Was it bad? Because I get fucked on all the time when I try to share stuff. So give me a thumbs up if there was no echo and you could hear it. Thumbs down if you couldn't hear it. Okay, you had the echo? All right, so I'll mute my mic. All right, cool. All right.
And JR, if you stand in northern Israel today and look to the northeast, you'll see snow-capped Mount Hermon. It's beautiful. 3 peaks, the tallest of which is 9,166 feet. But JR, there is an aura about Mount Hermon. There is a spiritual quality about it, and it is not a positive spiritual quality. In fact, its very name, Hermon, according to Jerome, translator of the Latin Vulgate Bible, means forbidden or accursed. It's thought of as a forbidden place. Why would this be so?
Isn't that amazing?
It is.
Genesis chapter 6 says, the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them wives, all which they chose. And of course, the giants were born from them. There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that. When the sons of God came into the daughters of men, they bare children to them, the same became mighty men, which were of old men of renown. These giants are really an incredible story here. But the important thing is, God said back in Genesis chapter 1 that the seed of the serpent would oppose the seed of the woman. Well, we know that the seed of the woman came through the Lord Jesus Christ of the tribe of Judah. According to Jacob in Genesis 49, Dan would produce the seed of the serpent. And Gary, Dan moved north to the foothills of Mount Hermon, and it appears that in his days, the angels, the fallen angels, came and consorted with Dan and inserted the seed of the serpent into the Danites. And from them, according to the rabbis, according to early church historians, Dan will produce the Antichrist. That's the theme of today's program. We're going to probe Mount Hermon.
Now, in the beginning, let's point out that the Jews have a lot of commentary concerning Mount Hermon in their writings, which don't often get translated and read among Gentiles. We have a number of references to Mount Hermon, the Zohar, the Book of Radiance, a kind of spiritual history of the Jews. There is a very interesting reference to Mount Hermon, and J.R., it seems to tie Mount Hermon very closely together with angels, even the fallen angels. And in an article which J.R. has written for the January Prophecy in the News called The Gate of the Fallen Angels, the Jews make a very good case for Mount Hermon as the entry point for the evil angels which descended to the earth.
Isn't that amazing? Go ahead and read just a little bit there from this Zohar.
The Zohar, which is as we say, a sort of spiritual history of Israel. We have a quote. Rabbi Jose says, following a tradition that these Nephilim, that is, and Azazel, whom God deprived of their supernal sanctity. How, it may be asked, can they exist in this world? Rabbi Hiya answers that they were of a class of spirits referred to in the words, and birds which fly on the earth. Now that's back in Genesis 1:20, referring to men who can fly.
Isn't that amazing? So from that has come medieval paintings of angels, human-like people with bird wings. Now, of course, we know that can't fly. People with bird wings. It just isn't aerodynamically possible for such a thing.
Yes.
Gary should know his family built the Stearman aircraft. In fact, if you've been looking behind his head there on the shelf is a little model of the family project back in the early part of the 20th century. So Gary should know these angels with bird wings won't fly.
Well, the medieval picture of men with wings seems extremely unaerodynamic. However, if we go back to the ancient writings and the Book of Enoch, Enoch describes what he called a house. He says, I saw a house greater than the former. He had seen two of these. The second one he describes. An entire portal stood open before me. It was built on flames of fire. In every respect, it so excelled in splendor and magnificence and extent that I cannot describe to you its splendor and its extent. And its floor was of fire, and above it were lightnings and the paths of the stars. And its ceiling was also a flaming fire. And I looked and saw therein a lofty throne. Its appearance was as crystal, and the wheels thereof were as the shining sun. And there was a vision of the cherubim. And from underneath the throne came streams of flaming fire, so that I could not look thereon. You know, JR, that a flying house suspended on flames of fire, that this sounds very technological to me.
So when Genesis 1:20 says, and birds which fly on the earth, there were some kind of something flying through the air.
Yes.
And according to the Book of Enoch, they descended and landed on top of Mount Hermon. So it became the spaceport or airport, whatever you want to call it, for these fallen angels. And they flew around in flying houses. Fascinating, isn't it?
Indeed, the port of entry, shall we say, of the fallen angels. Now, JR, we must be quick to say that when we read and quote from the Book of Enoch, we're not quoting from Scripture, although Jude quoted from a portion of it.
Yes.
Nevertheless, it does substantiate a lot of very early history that's reflected in Genesis.
Now, the rabbis wrote, as Gary has mentioned, the Zohar. This is a copy of the Zohar, Volume 1. And this is just, for example, one of the statements, many statements here. Uzzah and Azazel, from them the mixed multitude derived their souls, and therefore they are called the Nephilim, because they fall into fornication with fair women. For thus God casts them out from the future world, that is from eternity, in which they have no portion, and gives them their reward in this world, as it is written, he repays his enemies to their faces, and so on and so on. So this, Gary, talks about the Nephilim, these fallen angels. Now, it's important to understand that they actually came to the earth, that they were flying around in ships of some kind, houses, flying houses, with fire or lights on them, and canopies and what have you, and portals where Enoch could enter. And so when they came down on Mount Hermon, they corrupted the human race. We are told in the book of Genesis that only Noah was perfect in his generations, which I think means that he was genetically pure and not contaminated by these fallen angels.
We need to read a couple of excerpts. If we've got your head spinning right now, listen to this. From the Book of Enoch, and it came to pass after the children of men had increased in those days, beautiful and comely daughters were born to them, and the angels, the sons of the heavens, saw and lusted after them, and said one to another, behold, we will choose for ourselves wives from among the children of men, and will beget for ourselves children. And they descended on Ardis, which is the summit of Mount Hermon. And they called it Mount Hermon because they had sworn on it and bound themselves mutually by a curse. There's the origin of the name, accursed, anathema.
From which we get the word Hermon.
Yes.
All right, I've just been looking through the chat while we've been going on here. And yeah, Michelangelo's got a good question there. I wonder why they removed the Book of Enoch. Well, I see two clear good reasons. You know, one, they removed that, and now they have 66 books in the Bible just to bring people further away from, you know, the truth, the fact of God. Because they just want to demonize everything. They can demonize the Bible. They can demonize anything, you know? So maybe there was 67. They took it out, and then there was 66. One way to look at it. And another way is Book of Enoch was written for the final generation, you know? If you're these bad people, you know, the Pope, leaders of the world, the elites, you don't want the general public having direct access and quote unquote known fact to the blueprint for the final days. So you got to check that out. Got to check that out. And we're going to get back into this right now.
Well, according to an early scholar, this was November 21, 1881. George Shode wrote a general introduction to the Book of Enoch, and this is what he said. In the early literature of the church, there's a whole chain of evidences to this effect. Nearly all of the church leaders knew of an apocryphal Book of Enoch. Among them, the apostolic leaders was the Book of Enoch, refers to such a church, such a work. From that time to about the 7th century, Christian literature produces ample proof of the constant use and high standing of this book. He goes on to talk about Jude, quoting from chapter 1, verse 9, the Lord cometh with 10,000s of his saints. So the Book of Enoch, though it is classified apocryphal and not inspired writings, it is at least used and regarded by early church Christian leaders and rabbis. Let's talk about Azazel for a moment, Gary, because from what Enoch said, Azazel was, this Book of Enoch appeared to be at least well regarded by the rabbis and even by Moses himself.
Well, JR, one of the fallen angels was called Azazel or Azazel, it would be pronounced in the Hebrew. And from the Book of Enoch 8:1, we read, and Azazel taught men to make swords and knives and shields and breastplates, and made known to them the metals of the earth and the art of working them. And it goes on from there. Essentially, Azazel taught men to make war, the art of war. And for this, he was accursed. And the curse was kind of fascinating. In the book, it says, thou seest what Azazel hath done, who hath taught all unrighteousness on earth. He was cursed. And the Lord said, this is again in Enoch 9:4, and again the Lord said to Raphael, bind Azazel hand and foot, and cast him into the darkness, and make an opening in the desert, which is Dudael, and cast him therein. Azazel is to be cast out into the desert as his punishment. Well, JR, this Azazel is the name given to the scapegoat. That's fascinating.
Yes. The scapegoat on the Day of Atonement is sent out.
All right, so they just said two big things there. Azazel was cast down into hell through the desert. What's going on right now in the desert? You know? Got all this Iran talk, this Libya, this Syria, Turkey, all this crazy stuff being talked about over there. Iraq, Afghanistan, all the wars over the past couple of years, Operation Desert Storm. You know what I'm saying? So there's something going on over there in the Middle East, in the big desert, you know. And it's just, you know, in my opinion, there's something going on there, and people gotta take that into consideration. And another thing, he said that Azazel was a scapegoat, you know. So leads me further to believe that Azazel is not Lucifer, is one of the top archons, but is not, you know, the leader of them all. One of the leaders, but was pointed out to be the scapegoat, as we heard. So just makes me further believe that Lucifer was here before the angels fell and was whispering in their ears and telling them all this stuff, feeding them lies as they're feeding us lies today. It's all about deception, people.
Out into the desert. Just as Enoch says, Azazel was taken out into the desert. And of course, he was thrown into Tartarus, a lowest part of hell. In fact, 2 Peter chapter 2, verses 4 and 5, Peter writes, God spared not the angels that sinned, but cast them down to hell, and delivered them into chains of darkness to be reserved unto judgment, and spared not the old world, but saved Noah. And Jude puts it this way. He says, the angels which kept not their first estate, but left their own habitation, he hath reserved in everlasting chains under darkness, unto the judgment of the great day. These were Nephilim.
JR, at this point, it's instructive to look at Deuteronomy, because this brings it all together. Deuteronomy 3, in which the conquest of Og is spoken of. Now, Og was a giant who lived in the land of Bashan. Bashan being today's Syria, right at the foot of Mount Hermon. And we read this in Deuteronomy 3:8, and we took at that time of the land 2 kings of the Amorites, the land that was on this side Jordan, from the river of Arnon to Mount Hermon, which Hermon the Sidonians call Sirion, and the Amorites call Shinir. And all cities of the plain, and all Gilead, and all Bashan, unto Salca and Edrei, cities of the kingdom of Og in Bashan. For only Og, king of Bashan, remained of the remnant of the giants. These are the Rephaim.
Yes.
JR, the giants were that monstrous crossbreed of angels and humans, and they were accursed. And you'll notice that Og lives in the shadow of Mount Hermon.
In fact, he ruled from Mount Hermon, the Bible says. And in Deuteronomy 3, verses 11 through 13, that area is called the land of giants. Now, the Rephaim are the offspring of the Nephilim. So don't get those.
So isn't it kind of like, coincidental that we have all this stuff going on out here in the Middle East, and people are calling it the land of the Nephilim, the land of the giants? What's really going on here, guys? What is going on here? It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And people don't see that because people don't know, and that's the sad part. And that's why I'm doing this. I don't really care about view count. It's about reaching the right people. I really wish this could have 2, 3, 4 million views and start waking up people, be like, oh, dude, that's crazy, but the truth is gonna slap them in the face. And if they keep doing what they're doing, and I'm not no saint, I'm not sin free. We all live in sin. We were born into sin. This is a world of deception. You can't even take a crap without sinning sometimes, so we just gotta really just buckle down together, I guess, at this point, and share this upon each other with each other, because at this point it's all about bringing everyone up to speed, bringing new pieces to the puzzle, or old pieces to a new puzzle. It's all about sharing ideas. And I love how the chat's going right now. People are going here, there, this, that, and the other thing. So I'm hoping everyone in the chat's reading everyone's comments in here, and I hope that we could just share this to I don't give a fuck if it reaches everyone, but to the right people. If there's someone you think might relate to this, show it to them. Not even just this, like everything. Some of the Solar Sim videos, some of Brian's stuff, Russian vid stuff, RFB stuff. You can't relate to RFB. You're not a human fucking being, in my opinion, but it's ridiculous. I'm just looking here in the chat real quick, and Christy, absolutely, the Book of Enoch must be read. I've listened to it 2 or 3 or 4 times, and every time I listen to it, I catch something new. So, I'm gonna have to. I think I'm halfway through the second book right now, my audio file. And yeah, that new I don't even know how to say that, that new flu that's going around right now. Yeah, this one that has a patent from 2015. So ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. And in the cure that they're gonna have, absolutely. Oh, that's the wrong one. I'm sorry. Absolutely, right there, nanotech in the shots. So get ready for that stuff, people. Get ready for that stuff. It's absolutely crazy. Exactly. Oh, dude. One? No, dude. There's many up there. So, a couple of people I've listened to, they've actually gone there, and there's like 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm not even exaggerating. There's probably like 15 or 17 temples of Baal they have within the regional area of there. So you gotta check that out. It's absolutely crazy. Let's get this back on.
Those 2 Hebrew words mixed up. And Gary, Genesis 6:4 says that not only did these giants be produced by the sons of God in those days, but he adds, and also after that. In other words, after the flood, more Nephilim came back to Mount Hermon. Now, Gary, the first group of 200 that Enoch talks about were thrown into Tartarus.
Yes.
And reserved into the great day of judgment. They couldn't come back. But it seems like we know that Satan has a third of the angels of heaven on his side. So there are a lot more than any 200 evil angels. In fact, the whole world is filled with demonic activity today, I think. And we have these 200 seem to be the scouts, the first group that came, and others came after them, came after the flood, and introduced the seed of the serpent into the human race.
They were the advanced guard, so to speak. And JR, here's what's fascinating about all this. The curse that extends from Mount Hermon is centered right where we find enemy activity today. If you took an aerial view of Mount Hermon, it's right near Syria. It's right near Lebanon. It's overshadowing, if you will, northwestern Iraq. All of this evil activity seems to be focused right in this area that the Bible refers to as accursed Hermon. Very near Mount Hermon today are a number of ancient places of idol worship. One of these is a very famous tourist spot called the Baalbek Acropolis. Baalbek from the name Baal, Baalbek, Baalbek. And JR, the Baalbek Acropolis has been built in such a way that people wonder how it could possibly be built. The floor stones are the size of boxcars, in some cases 2 boxcars in length. And they are of heroic proportions. And some people have said they must have been built by giants. Well, when we read in Judges 3:3, it says this, namely, the 5 lords of the Philistines and all the Canaanites and Sidonians and the Hivites that dwelt at in Mount Lebanon, from the Mount Baal Hermon unto the entering in of Hamath. So in Judges, the territory that was taken and if you will, regulated or ruled over by Israel, or at least should have been, goes under this name, Baal Hermon, or is sort of overseen by Baal Hermon. Now, that kind of ties it all together, JR.
Reginald C. Hopt Jr., some years ago, wrote a book entitled The Gods of the Lodge, and he went to Mount Hermon on a tour, and they found some 20 temples.
Wow.
In and around Mount Hermon, temples of Baal. You recall idolatry mentioned in the Bible? In the 10 Commandments, thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven images of gods above, and so on. Well, this worship of Baal and Ashtaroth literally centered around Mount Hermon. It was a Canaanite religion. And the land of Canaan was called Canaan, not the promised land, even in the days of Abraham. Why? Because Ham and his children, which was Cush and Put and Mizraim and Canaan, migrated after the days of the Tower of Babel into this area and consorted with these angels from Mount Hermon. And then Canaan and his family settled in this area, and they developed a religion around this. Now, Mizraim, a brother of Canaan, went on down into Egypt, and he found 3 other peaks. Mount Hermon has 3 peaks. He found 3 other peaks in the form of great pyramids. And so he and his family stayed in that area and developed a religion around those pyramids. It became the mythology of Egypt. And then Phut and Cush went on further south into Ethiopia and into South Africa to populate there. But what is so interesting is those great pyramids seem to be with 3 peaks, or 3 of them there, huge, monstrous things, seems to have been built before the flood, and they seem to have something to do with this worship around Mount Hermon.
And implying, of course, that the worship originated from above and it was not a product of man's thinking, but was injected into humanity by fallen angels. Let me quote quickly from Reginald Haupt, because this brings our study from ancient history up through the time of Jesus and on into the present. Haupt said, "We then ascended to the mountain and found the ruined temple of Baal, constructed of Herodian masonry, which dated it to just previous to and during the early Christian era. In a low place near the northwest corner of the temple we excavated, found loads of ash and burnt bone, which had been dumped there as refuse from sacrifices." Now, this is the time of Jesus and the time of Herod, suggesting that even Herod and his people knew about this Baal worship on that mountain.
Jesus and his disciples went up to Caesarea Philippi and stood there at the foot of Mount Hermon, where the waters of Dan come out from that cave,
Yes,
which you can see in the picture we are supplying. You see those little niches around? Those were niches for the worship of Pan, the god Pan. I think is a takeoff from Dan, frankly. He was said to be the son of Hermes. Hermes, of course, is who the Romans called Mercury. He was the messenger of the gods. Well, hey, that's Mount Hermon. And those angels came down as messengers from the gods, shall we say, from Satan himself, and developed this seed of the serpent. The tribe of Dan moved there in the days of the judges, and at that point then, they disappeared from there to points unknown and became the proverbial lost tribe. And yet the rabbis have said that they will produce the Antichrist. In other words, these Nephilim consorted with the tribe of Dan and inserted the genetic reptilian serpent-like satanic seed into the Danites, and from them one day will come the Antichrist. So when Jesus stood there at the foot of Mount Hermon, he turned to his disciples and said, "Whom do men say that I am?"
yes.
They said, "Thou art the Son of the living God." Now, I think Jesus was standing there in the territory he knew that the Antichrist would come from. And so he posed this incredible question: who am I? The Son of God.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Wow, what an announcement.
Yeah.
Now let's move forward just a bit to a date that has very suspicious numbers in it. The numbers are 1666. In 1666, Louis XIV of France authorized the building of an observatory, and it bears on the location of Mount Hermon.
Yes, it happened to be in Paris. And so for a number of years, Paris had the zero meridian. Of course, the British wouldn't be outdone. And so a few years later, they set up a meridian called the zero meridian in London at an observatory called Greenwich. Now, in 1884, 25 countries met in Washington, D.C., and decided on a zero meridian for the whole world. And, of course, France abstained from that vote because it landed with the Greenwich Observatory in London, and that's where the zero meridian is today for all of navigation. But from the original Paris meridian, which goes back, dates to Merovingian times,
Yes.
Mount Hermon and the tribe of Dan lived 33 degrees east of the Paris zero meridian. Furthermore, Mount Hermon is 33 degrees north latitude from the equator. So
Now, do you guys see why they changed the prime meridian from Paris to London? Because it was all there. It was 33 degrees east, and it was 33 degrees north of the equator. It still is 33 degrees north of the equator, but they had to change the prime meridian to hide their number, to hide their 33. And we know how important and significant 33 is to these guys, as a third of the angels, 33.3% fell. You know what I'm saying, guys? So you always got to keep that in mind. That is where the original worship of 33 comes into play in this reality, as it may go back to the beginning of time, for all we know. So
we have this incredible 33rd degree that has come down to us in the Merovingian, Knights Templar,
Yes.
secret societies, and it's all tied right back to Mount Hermon, isn't it?
33 degrees from Mount Hermon. Now, we're rapidly running out of time, but I want to get this in before we leave you today. JR has also included a study on the clothing that is so important.
all right, so yeah, that was that little excerpt of Darkness. I don't even remember. End Times, Darkness, Deception Radio. I don't quite know. I don't really remember. The link is in the description. I just exit out of the box like an a-hole, and the link is somewhere in the chat. You can scroll back to that. So yeah, I just thought that was rather important. You guys in the chat seem to like that. Seem to be brewing up some ideas, and I've liked everything I've seen in the chat so far. So that's nice. I like that you guys are branching off on this idea, and it just shows the significance of the number 33, and it proves evolution wrong, because all this stuff actually happened. Like shit, Richie was showing the other day how the ark that Noah built, it's still still there. So with all that being said, it's just I think it's just very important that we don't just talk about what's going on right now in reality, but what happened in the past and the stories of the past that will relate to the future, which is now. Because I think, quite honestly, we are living in the end times. So that's just it's just my opinion on that. And you know what I'm saying? Like you got all that going on back then, corrupting the flesh, corrupting genetics. And what do you got going on now? You have men merging with technology. You have Gordy Rose literally making robots that are indistinguishable from humans. He said that a couple months ago, so that means they completed it a couple years ago. That's how they work, people. That's how they stay 5, 10, 20 steps ahead of the game. They don't tell you what's going on. They don't let you vote upon if your sky's getting chemtrailed. They don't let you vote upon. They don't let you vote upon fucking politicians in reality. But they don't give you the heads up that, hey, we're gonna just switch the sun out, put the solar sim up there. They don't tell you that, hey, NASA is fake. We can't go to space. There's a dome. Earth is probably flat and only 5,000-10,000 years old max. But we can't tell you that. We're gonna tell you this BS lie. We're gonna get NASA going 600 billion since its inception. No big deal. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And the one part about that really pisses me off, it all does. Solar sim, NASA lies, flat Earth, the vaccine connection. The daily hoaxes they have on TV. That all gets me. But the part that really, really, really gets me going, guys, is the chemtrailing deception, the web of deception. It's right in your face. It's right in the skies. Every night, every day, and no one can see it. I got some pictures ready here, so let me get these up. And all the pictures just shut, so that's cool. So that's really cool. That's really, really, really cool. Wow. Well, I guess we're not going to share any pictures. That's ridiculous. It's because I got this one picture queued up. I know what it is. These bastards, I'm telling you. They don't want me to show anything. That pisses me off, man. It really does. It really does. Hold on a sec. I'm just getting these lined up. So they're pictures from today and yesterday. So let me try this again. Pictures. So this was yesterday's sun. This is what we were dealing with all day yesterday. Yesterday I could have went to bed at like 3 in the afternoon. I was just so shot. And I just didn't, that's what happens. They put these fake clouds in the sky, these frequency-based clouds, and they mess with our frequency because we're energy people. We were spoken into existence from the word. Everything around us was. Everything around us is physical, but it's also vibrational. God spoke the existence of the earth with a word. He said, "Let there be light." And what do you know? There's some light. He did all this through vibrations, through frequencies. And the fact that they're trying to block our frequency, our natural frequency to the earth with chemtrails, with fluoride, with these vaccines, with all these viruses, with all this stuff, fake food, fake water. And it's all just to disconnect us from God and to keep us in the deception that the fallen angel thousands of years ago, hundreds maybe. I don't know, dude. The timeline's all messed up. So it's crazy. And this is from today. Look at the sun, dude. What's up with that? What is that, people? I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 beams of light just shooting out of this, and it looks oddly like a hexagon. You know? So what's really happening? And this was the sun this afternoon. You get like half a hexagon because the clouds kind of messing it out, but look at the deception in the skies, people. What is going on? We know what's going on, but no one else really does. And that's what gets me, dude. No one sees it's cut this in the sky, so they're not going to see what's coming. It's so crazy. It's so crazy. And like, what's that? What am I talking about? I got simulator patents, dude. I know they expired, but they're real. Honeycomb, hexagon. The shit dates back to 1804. No, I'm sorry, 1904. The method of producing rainfall dates back to 1811, but they removed that. And I'll prove that again. I'll prove it again and again. 1904. There you go. So, what's really going on here, guys? What is really going on here? Because you got me just catching these like hexagonal objects in the sky day in and day out. You have patents that go back to 1904. It's just crazy. And this is, like I said, that was a picture before. This is the video of the sky last night. Let me know if that looks, appetizing to anyone. It's disgusting. It's disgraceful. It's just a slap in the face of reality, dude. It's absolutely crazy. It's 100% just ridiculous on all levels. On all levels. And people just can't see this stuff. And that's what bugs me. That's why I come on here. Maybe I'm a little repetitive in the stuff I talk about, but sooner or later someone's got to pick this shit up. That's not a natural sun, and that's why they got to have the chemtrails too. It's a multifaceted quote unquote conspiracy. You know what I'm saying? They want to block your frequency to God. They want to block your frequencies to each other. They just want to block your frequencies out, keep them trapped here, keep you in a state of just panic, fear, chaos, depression, whatever it may be. They got you somehow. And the truth will set you free from all that. Understanding what's going on, understanding this is a biblical prophecy that's being played out in front of our eyes day in and day out. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. The skies were never like this when I was a kid. The sun was never a white hot hexagon in the sky. But now that's just the new norm, dude. And people just seem to be willy-nilly about it. And literally, that's what I'm saying. Like, I might be a little repetitive in what I talk about and what I do, but I feel it's that important. I feel like this is one of the most important things to be talking about day in and day out with everyone you talk to, everyone who's like everyone, dude. You're getting sprayed out of like out of a movie, like straight out of a book. This is not something I could just make up. It's not anything that the hundreds of thousands of people on YouTube and other like websites can just make up. They're blocking the sky. They're blocking the sun. Obviously, they're blocking the sun. Operation Solar Shield. They don't want you getting that natural connection from real sunlight. And even if they didn't block the sun, there'd be a hexagon there to prevent that anyways. Artificial sun that's patented by Boeing, Pratt and Whitney, NASA. So what's going on, guys? And it's no coincidence that NASA followed the eclipse in 2017 when it went from west to east across the United States. I speculate that that was the day they put up the solar simulators across the United States, in my opinion. What is that, bro? What is this? That's a hexagon. I'm sorry. It's ridiculous. I know. Believe me, I know. So that was last night. Look at bright and early this morning. It's around 8:30 this morning. And we are just right back on it, you know? They don't give us 10 minutes without spraying here in New England. Sun was looking rather odd. Rather odd. And you got the chemtrails around it. Look at that, dude. Look at that. And they got, like I was saying before, they have all this stuff in the sky because they're hiding the solar simulator. They're blocking your frequency, your connection to God, to everyone else. And the 5G grid's not helping with that either, by the way, for people who have forgotten. It's multifaceted. And they control the weather. If there's a weather front coming in, and this is what I caught today. Look at that, dude. Look at that. What the F? 6 rays coming out of it. White, hot, thin layer of chem in front of it, and just crazy. Just so crazy. Look how the light has to focus on it. It's literally triple, quadruple in size, and once you focus on it, it's just a white, hot, non-circular object. How people don't see that is like literally beyond me. And this was this afternoon, right before we went live. That's what we're dealing with for the end of the day. The web of deceptions. Look at all that. They're looking like rib cage, spider web clouds in the skies as far as the eye can see. And I got some decent elevation here. That's all you could see. Operation Solar Shield people. Dr. David Keith. It's a fact. They've been doing this. They came out in the public and said they were doing this. And since then, they've stepped it up exponentially. They stepped it up to a level that I've never even thought about being possible. Normally, you could see more mountains in the background there. We've seen that every day. Today, you can't. Look at that thing. Highly skeptic. Sun in the sky, just with the beams coming out of it again like we caught the other day. How ridiculous is all that? And people have no idea. They're just on their phones. They're at work. They don't care. They're getting the paycheck today. Look how odd that sun looks. Look how odd the sky looks. Looks like a dragon's tail in the sky. You got these little broken DNA chains around it. It's just crazy. And if that's not a frequency right there, I don't know what is, people. All of that. The copy and pasting of the clouds. Repeat, 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 repeat. How do you not see that, people? There's patents. We got patents. Patents, process of controlling the weather. 1948. Method of producing rainfall. 1891. We'll go down here because I'm sure they haven't put it back yet. Of course not. Apparently, it only goes back to 1882. But in reality, same patent, U.S. method of producing, yep, same exact thing, 1811. But they took that out because they don't want you to know they're 200 fucking years ahead. 209 years ahead, and I'm the asshole. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just going through the chat real quick. I'm not just saying yeah to myself. Yeah, no such thing as a coincidence. Absolutely. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff, Christy. Absolutely. We're doing this every day here. We get blown out of the water every day. Hiding stars for some reason. Yeah, they gotta hide the stars, bro. They have to. 100 have gone missing. I've seen plenty of shooting stars the last couple of weeks. I've seen orange stars that just blink and they're gone. It's something's going on. Something big's going on, guys. And you know what it is? It's this right here. Please hold. Please hold. It's right here. It's exactly what it is. Luke 21, 25, 26. There'll be signs in the moon, sun, and stars. On earth, nations will be in anguish and perplexity of the roaring and tossing of the seas. People will faint from terror, apprehensive of what is coming on the world, and heaven, for the heavenly bodies will be shaken. You know what the chemtrails are doing? They're blocking out this first part here. There will be signs in the moon, star, and sun, or in the sun, moon, and stars. And the chemtrails, another perk of them, they block that out. They don't want us to see this stuff. Just like the Book of Enoch, they took that shit out because they don't want us to know that the end of times is coming. They want us to think everything is willy nilly. It's all good, because it's not. It's not all good, man. It's bad. It's all bad. People don't see that. We sign the sun, moon, and stars, and the chemtrails are blocking them out. And they're putting up fake suns, and China has a patent for a fake moon. They're putting all that up so we don't see what's really going on to the real moon and sun. And the stars just keep falling. It's absolutely crazy. It's absolutely crazy, guys. So that's what I think is going on. Just want to thank all you guys for coming. I feel like we had a pretty good little podcast here, whatever you want to call what we do. I don't want to call it a show because it's not a show. This isn't a broadcasting network, or it is what it is. We do our thing, and I'm just doing this for truth. I'm just trying to help wake everyone up, because this time is rapidly coming upon us and people don't see what's going on. And that's what kills me, man. That's what really kills me. Except some people will never even have the opportunity to see what's happening. And they're just going to go on to this next realm, just, lathered in sin. It's sad. I'm not the best person, I'm not saying that I'm a 100% clean person. Every day I try to live a little bit better. But, we all have a past, and it's all about trying to be right. It's all trying about make right. So it is what it is, guys. But I'm gonna wrap this up. I'm gonna go through the chat real quick. We'll start here. We'll just work our way down. I think we could scroll. We can. Nice. Michelangelo, thanks for coming. Pirate Oxide. I think I didn't. I didn't. What's up? Cold Steel True, thanks for coming, Buzz. Steve Marzelli, Edis McFetus, Real News Headquarters, thanks for coming. Christy Cool, thank you. Telling Me Truth, good to see you in the chat. I can't say your name, buddy, but thanks for coming, much appreciated. El Paso in the house. Perceptions of Reality, thanks for coming. Thanks for coming. B Maze, thank you. Absolutely. Who else we got in here? I saw some other people. DD74. Thanks for coming. Ghana Ball. Edis McFetus. Not sure if I already said that or not. It is what it is. Who else we got in here? Bad Pie Man, what's going on? How are you? Thanks for coming. I haven't seen you in a little while. It is what it is. Bad Pie Man. This thing could not scroll any slower. B Mac, what's up? Bernie McIntyre. Bernie Mac formally. Informally. What's going on? Magic Sister. John Q. Okay. Cora in the house. What's going on? Good to see you. Yeah, much appreciated. Thank you. What is that? Pamela Thrasher, thanks for coming. Thanks for coming. Much love, much respect for everyone there in the chat. Chris Coleman, yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you guys. So, yeah, shout out to you guys. You guys are the real heroes here. Austin Faces, much love. But, yeah. All right, so I hope you guys like this. Like, share, and subscribe, absolutely. God bless all of you. Keep everyone, just try to keep everyone, in your prayers, your thoughts. Just, always try to be living with more of an open eye and a better understanding for what is actually going on around us. So, just try to live more, more like, well, what would Jesus do? Just try to think of life more like that. That's just what I, try to do. Most of the time when I'm at work, it's a little different because you got to be on there. But it is what it is, guys. We're all facing, sin and temptation and whatnot every day. So just try to do the best we all can. And until next time, I'm out of here. God bless y'all. And I'm gonna end this with a nice song by ODD. It's called Take Me to the Stars. So you guys enjoy this, and I'll see you guys on the flip side. Good night. Wow.
You can take me to the stars. We can touch the stars tonight. You can take me to the stars. We can touch the stars tonight. You can take me to the stars. We can touch the stars tonight. You can take me to the stars. We can touch the stars tonight.
Bill Nye, the science guy, once said that I am one giant fuckhead. Me and Neil deGrasse, straight shield for cash, and we are the evil that people want dead. You're just a product of the environment, but everything is fake. This entire shit, I don't know what to say, but I'm not buying it. I've been here every day and I've been trying it. Everything that we're taught is a scam, and all along it was part of the plan. Telling us they're gonna go to Mars with a man? That's why I call them out as hard as I can. We ain't been to the moon and we ain't going soon, and everybody at NASA is a soulless goon. Man, this is fact, this is so damn true. Everybody watch out, Orion's floating through. Man's face is fake, but you gotta admit the slide takes the cake. These people need to chill out and take a break, but I'll never sleep again, I gotta stay awake. They lie and we don't need that. It's one big hoax and I'm starting to see that. Space was a place that I wanted to be at. I used to believe that.
You can take me to the stars. We can touch the stars tonight. You can take me to the stars. We can touch the stars tonight. You can take me to the stars. We can touch the stars tonight. You can take me to the stars. We can touch the stars tonight.
Growing up, I didn't have a clue. I used to think the earth was a ball just like you. Who knew? Everything that we learned in school is nothing but bullshit. None of it's true. Ha! And these people call it education. Just a clever way to say indoctrination. You don't seem to understand the plot we're facing. It's all about common sense and observation. But not for the mainstream, it isn't the case. They say you're spinning on a rock in the middle of space, but now's not the time, nor is it the place. I'm really sick of getting lied to, so get out my face. If you feel the way I feel, then come with me, get up. Flat earthers all across the plane, ripping it up. Truth seekers all up in this bitch, getting it grump. And if you think we plan on stopping, then you're shit out of luck. That's why ODD is always on the grind, and I'm never ever scared to speak what's on my mind. Cause this day and age, everybody is afraid. It's an illness, realness is hard to find. They lie all the time, and we don't need that. It's one big hoax, and I'm starting to see that. Space was a place that I wanted to be at. I used to believe that.
You can take me to